Local Democratic lawmakers at the state and national level are talking about President Joe Biden's decision to leave the presidential race.
Our Jade Jarvis joins us live tonight with reaction from some of those officials. Jade?
Well, Felicia and Todd, the two lawmakers that I spoke to, say they are grateful to President Biden for his leadership and also all of the accomplishments that he has made during his presidency. But they are happy that he has chosen to step down, and they are hopeful that this choice will inject some new life into the party's bid for the White House. State Senator Lori Berman tells me she did not join calls for Biden to step down publicly since she's a delegate for the Democratic National Convention who was pledged to the president. But she says she was concerned about his candidacy going forward. She says she supports President Biden's choice to endorse Vice President Kamala Harris for the presidential nomination.
I think once we all coalesce around that, which I think is going to happen very, very quickly, and then she will have the opportunity to pick a vice president and we will move forward. And this is going to be the strongest party. People were tired of the choice between Biden and Trump. This is energizing us.
She believes bringing her in will help Democrats communicate their goals clearer.
I think you're going to see some really strong messaging on the issues, which is what we should be talking about. And you're going to see a real difference between the two parties now that the issue of age is no longer front and center in the Democratic Party campaign.
We also spoke with Congresswoman Lois Frankel, who says she respects the president's decision and wanted it to be up to him.
I am so thankful for all that President Biden has done and continues to do for our country and the world. His decency and patriotism has been a mark of his extraordinary service.
She also says she is thrilled to endorse Vice President Harris as she is throwing her hat in the ring for the nomination and believes it will have a positive impact for the Democratic Party going forward.
She brings fresh blood into this race and a clear choice. Because as I said, an election is a choice between candidates. And to me, Donald Trump is not the right choice for this country. Kamala Harris, people, when they get to know her better, will love her.
And as for concerns about the time frame with only a few months left until the election, Senator Berman tells me she is not concerned and she believes the Democratic Party has both the opportunity and the money to campaign for their brand new candidates and win the election. Live in West Palm Beach, Jay Jarvis, WPBF 25 News.
Jay, thank you. Now to more reaction tonight to President Biden's decision to drop out of this race. The president's youngest brother, Frank Biden, said that his brother's decision to step down from the top of the ticket is centered on his overall health and vitality.
Jamie Harrison, the chair of the Democratic National Committee, said, quote, "The American people owe President Biden an enormous debt of gratitude for the unparalleled progress he has delivered over the last 4 years. And we will honor that legacy and the decision that he has made today through a firm commitment to nominating and electing a Democratic president this November who will carry that torch into the next 4 years." Former President Barack Obama expressed his support for Biden, describing him as a patriot of the highest order. But we are hearing that both Bill and Hillary Clinton are endorsing the vice president, saying in a statement they will fight to ensure Kamala Harris is elected as president. Our team coverage continues tonight with Steve King, who is live near Mar-a-Lago, where presidential nominee Donald Trump arrived last night.
Steve, what are state and federal Republican leaders saying tonight?
Todd, well, Republican lawmakers across the state are saying that they're not surprised that President Joe Biden is dropping his re-election bid, but some say they don't even think he's fit to serve out the rest of his term as president. Governor Ron DeSantis posting to X, reacting to President Biden's endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris in the presidential race, saying, quote, "Kamala Harris was complicit in a massive cover-up to hide and deny the fact that Joe Biden was not capable of discharging the duties of the office. Democrats are just rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic." I also spoke with Republican State Representative John Snyder from Martin County, who told me this.
Look, Joe Biden has dedicated nearly his entire life to public service. Very few times have I agreed with him on the policy, but what I believe happened today was confirmation for what the entire country has known for some time. Joe Biden was not fit to run for president, much less lead this country. And so today we received that confirmation in his statement.
Snyder also says Biden's endorsement of Harris shows the Democratic Party is in disarray. As for the Florida GOP, leaders releasing a statement that reads in part, quote, "Weekend at Biden's is over. Joe Biden's announcement confirms what we've been saying for years. Democrat leadership has failed Americans by propping up someone unfit to do the job. It doesn't matter which empty suit they put forward, we will win." On the federal side, Congressman Brian Mast tweeting, "Unfit to stand trial, unfit to run, unfit to be president for one more second." And U.S. Senator Rick Scott posting to X, quote, "Run for re-election. He is not capable of serving as president for the next 6 months and needs to resign now." And that roadblock outside of Mar-a-Lago was put up yesterday morning, and we were there earlier seeing several Secret Service vehicles posted up. Now, Palm Beach police say that roadblock is going to stay up at least through the general election in November, but it could be up even longer. Reporting live near Palm Beach, Steve King, WPBF 25 News.